Today, I'm going to share 3 bizarre LSAT strategies I personally used to score 175 on the LSAT. Hey, what's up everybody? Steve Schwartz here from LSAT Unplugged, joining you today to share a bit of my personal LSAT prep journey, in particular, 3 bizarre strategies I personally used to score 175 on the LSAT. 2 of them I still definitely recommend, but 1 of them not quite so much. Before I get into it, a little bit about LSAT Unplugged. We offer live online classes via Zoom, on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. Check out the links below this video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd love to help you out. So the reason I'm making this video is that my goal for each and every one of you watching this video is that you personally end up scoring 170 plus on the LSAT. And I've shared plenty of my typical, relatively more conventional strategies here on the channel already, and much more in my courses. But today I want to take a different approach and share 3 unique and even frankly bizarre strategies I personally used that helped me get my 175 on my actual official LSAT. Now, before I get into it, these strategies are not for everybody. In particular, I only recommend them if you're already scoring 160 plus on at least one timed practice test. If you're not quite there yet, I recommend instead stick with the more conventional stuff, build that strong foundation on each section, each question type, and then come back to this video to start implementing some of the more unique strategies I'm going to share today. Now, the first strategy I used, that's a rather unique one, is to write my own LSAT logic games questions. Of course, there are nearly 400 released actual official LSAT logic games available to you. Do those first, but if you're really looking to get inside the mind of the test makers and see the exam from their point of view, it can be rather instructive to take the approach of writing your own logic games to see how exactly they design the unique tricks and traps that test takers like yourself are uniquely prone to falling for. I've written about 10 of my own actual official LSAT logic games. You can find them inside the LSAT Unplugged courses along with detailed walkthroughs to show you how I would solve my own logic games. Be warned, they are more difficult than your average logic game, so not for the faint of heart. Again, only take this approach if you're already scoring in the 160s at least once and preferably consistently if possible. Now, the second bizarre strategy I used was to write my own LSAT explanations for official LSAT questions. I wrote my own back when I was studying as a way of deepening my review process to figure out what was tempting about the wrong answer choice that made me pick it, and what ultimately made it wrong, what was unappealing about the right answer choice that pushed me away from it, and what ultimately made it correct. So you have these traps of encouragement towards the wrong answer, traps of discouragement away from the right answer, and only by reviewing in depth and ideally taking it to the next level by explaining the questions the way you would to someone else can you really get the key takeaways that will allow you to avoid making the same mistake again. So number 2, writing your own LSAT explanations. Since then, of course, I've written many, many more explanations. I've written actually over 1,000 explanations for real LSAT questions, in particular logical reasoning. They're available to students inside my courses and of course elsewhere as well, even including Amazon. So you can check those out for more. Now, the number 3 bizarre strategy I employed, and this one I do not recommend to anyone, is to overload with protein the day of the test. I had read that protein is brain food, it's brain power, and so I was under this misguided impression that the more protein I consumed, the more powered my brain would be the morning of the test. Now, I took the LSAT back when it was administered only in person, pre-pandemic, a long, long time ago, and I had my LSAT on a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And so I woke up maybe 6:37. I immediately consumed an entire can of tuna fish because I thought that was a great way to get as much protein as possible. It never occurred to me to get a protein drink or a shake of some kind. I just thought I'm just going to eat a can of tuna fish. And it worked out terribly. I ended up puking up the entire thing, not a pretty sight. And I ended up going to test day with a rather unsettled stomach. I grabbed a banana on the way to the subway. hopped on the subway, went down to my testing center. The test ended up going totally fine, surprisingly, and it turned out that maybe having a relatively empty stomach that was just only settled a little bit by that banana. So do not eat something you've never eaten before the morning of the test. Certainly don't eat an entire can of tuna fish. Eat your standard breakfast. Maybe a little bit of protein in the form of a shake or something that your stomach can handle would be a relatively better idea than what I did. I had also never subjected myself to that quantity of food or that intensity of food at that hour of the morning. Probably not the best way to start the day. And so whatever you're going to eat the day of the test or the morning of the test, if you're taking it in the morning, I would do a dry run on a practice test at least once or twice prior. So if you're going to eat, drink a protein shake or eat a steak and eggs or whatever you want to do in the morning of your test, you do that on at least 1 or 2 time practice tests the same time of day you'll do it on the actual test day, just to make sure things are going to end up going smoothly for you and you're not going to make any mistakes like I did. So there you have it, folks. 3 bizarre techniques I personally used to score 175 on the LSAT. 2 I recommend, 1 not so much. Again, they are number 1, writing my own LSAT logic games. Number 2, writing my own LSAT explanations. And number 3, eating a can of tuna fish at 7 a.m. the morning of my actual official LSAT. Definitely don't recommend that one. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favor. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. Maybe you know someone who's aiming for a 175 on their official LSAT. Maybe you know someone who's already tried all the conventional techniques and is willing to try something a bit bizarre and unconventional. And maybe you know someone who just needs a little boost of motivation, learning what to do and what not to do. Anyway, folks, again, that's all for now. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.